Welcome music lovers to another bonus episode of Shuffle, Skip, Repeat, the series aiming to amplify the sound of change within the music industry. We're your hosts, Yuki and Lorcan, and today you're in for a treat. Our guest needs no introduction as her soul-stirring voice and timeless melodies have captivated hearts across the globe for over 3 decades. She's a true icon in the world of music, and we are honoured to have none other than Gabrielle on the show. Join us for the next half an hour as we discuss her youth, her incredible back catalogue, her work with the likes of Adele and Stormzy, and the excitement for her upcoming 30th anniversary tour. But before we begin, don't forget to hit subscribe, and remember you can check out lots of the video clips from our episode with Gabrielle on our social channels. That's at Shuffle, Skip, Repeat. Enjoy!
So we are now joined by Brit Award-winning, Ivor Novello Award-winning, Mobo Award-winning, an all-round lovely person. It's Gabrielle. Thank you so much for being here. Honestly, it's such a delight having you. Honestly.
Mine.
Oh, thank you. So obviously we've got lots of great questions for you today. 30 years we're celebrating, but we'll get into that in a bit. I think it would be amiss of us to not start at the very beginning and find out a little bit more about how Gabrielle came to be, I think. This phenomenon, I think, is a good word to use. Once you hit 30 years, I think there's no other way to describe it.
So you're a Hackney girl?
Born in East London, born in Hackney, but not raised in Hackney.
Okay.
Raised in South East London, yes.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah.
And you had 3 brothers growing up, is that
3
right?
brothers.
What was that like? Were they very protective, or were they what every brother is sent on earth to annoy you?
I was the eldest, so I probably had to be protective over them, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's 6 years between me and my youngest brother. So yeah, it was just cool. I was the only girl, so I got to have my own room. You know what I mean? I didn't have to share. I could watch what I liked. I mean, back in those days, in my day, it was black and white TV, and I lived for that black and white TV. that and the radio.
No, I was going to
Yes.
say back in the 90s, right, Gabrielle?
Yeah.
No, that's when you grew up in the 90s? Yeah.
No, I'm probably one of the few people that I know who deliberately aged myself. I can't wait to be the next age, just to say that I'm still here.
I like that.
And I think that as a woman, I've realised I'm probably a kind of a weird phenomenon because, you know, not only women, I know that people, when they get to a certain age, they're either crying into their pillows, oh my God, I can't believe I'm here, and just wanting to knock a few years off their ages. But I've never actually been like that.
Well, I think when you've got as much fitted in as you have, there's something to be, you have to celebrate, don't you?
Yeah.
So sticking with your youth and growing up, what kind of music was played in the household? What were your parents playing? What were your kind of earliest memories with music?
Oh my gosh. So growing up, I listened to a lot of Motown because my mum used to play a lot of Motown. But at the same time, I have a young mum. So I was very much an 80s pop child. So growing up, I listened to, the radio was always on. We had the top 40 on, or should I say, I had the top 40 on. I dominated the radio in the kitchen because, you know, most people would run away from doing the washing up, but that was the one place where my brothers wouldn't dare come into the kitchen. So I could literally, you know, be it Sunday, have the top 40 radio on, you know what I mean? Just listening to the charts, the countdown, and just washing up. And washing up in those days was a breeze, and now we've got the dishwasher. I didn't have one. I was the dishwasher back in those days. But I shouldn't say that because I sound really old, but yeah, I'm owning it.
Well, we're celebrating it. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm celebrating the
this.
fact
I got her in the
that
end,
my
too.
childhood was, you know, it was about music. I was a huge 80s into that pop music fan. I was into Adam and the Ants. I was into Nick Haywood and Haircut 100. You name it, I loved it. I loved growing up, it was Diana Ross, it was Michael Jackson, but then there was Madonna. At that time, in the 80s, we had Fame on the TV. So whenever Fame came on the TV, I would run up to my room. Remember, I'm the only female child, so I got to have my own room. And you just hear the noise where I'm trying to, you know, follow the dances. So it was just a very musical household. I loved it. For me, if there's no music, there's no life. You know, and I you know, for me, I could do without people. But music, when I was growing up, that's me and my buddy.
And your early career, everyone has a different story. And I think that's what's most interesting about people, how they got to where they're at.
Yeah.
And everyone can have something different, whether it's sending countless mixtapes to radio stations, to busking, to the club circuit. What would you say kind of shaped your early years?
My experience, it started for me singing in a nightclub in the West End. It was a music, I say West End, Greek Street.
Yeah.
It was a place called Moonlighting, and it was just by chance. I had no intentions of singing in nightclubs, and if it wasn't for a cousin of mine who had a boyfriend who was doing a bit of modelling, and it was a club back in the day where they used to have a lot of celebrities, but they also used to have their kind of talent night and their kind of show night. So there'd be lots of different singers from, you know, just around the UK, just coming along and singing. And my cousin Joyce was like, well, you know, there's going to be this entertainment thing going on. How about singing? I'm like, hell no. I love singing at home, but not really in front of people. I did used to sing in a band with friends, but I was always at the back because I wasn't that confident. And the prospect of being kind of catapulted to the front, because it wasn't me, you know, singing in this club on my own. It was going to be, no, with other people. It was going to be me on my own. So I actually kind of said no. And I ended up getting talked into it because my cousin, she's the same age as me, she's a month older. She's like, oh, come on, you can do this. And I thought it'd be a bit fun. And so basically, the night of the the talent show, I went there. I was waiting. I let my mum know, wanted her to come. I don't think she did arrive that first time I went there. But I remember being really scared because there's models. It's not a big place. Models, and there's other singers, and some of them had the most phenomenal voices. And I was like, I can't do this. But I ended up being pushed onto the stage. And I remember singing, I think my first song was Luther Vandross's So Amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And basically I started singing from there. That was my first official break. And I loved it so much that I ended up becoming a regular, just singing, you know, amongst all these incredible singers. And they're all professional, more professional than me. I'd never done it before. So that was my first kind of foray into performing, like, in front of loads of people. And loads might have been like 250 people in those days, but for me, that was a lot.
But you say, you know, your first time doing it, but really everyone's just making up as they go along, aren't they? And we just got to remind ourselves of that.
Yeah, definitely.
In terms of Dreams,
Yes,
which is, you know, the big one, it's
Yeah.
my favourite track.
I think it's a lot of people's.
It is, yeah, absolutely.
I can speak on behalf of the
Love
nation
it.
when I say.
I actually cried. Again, here's my fangirl moment.
Wonderful.
Cannot beat him. But in the pandemic, you played at Boysdale.
Yes.
And I love live music.
Yeah.
And I went with my boyfriend and we saw you performing. And yeah, because we couldn't get up and dance. Like, I don't know, like it was the time,
'cause
you
of
know,
the rules.
dancing
Of course,
was
yeah.
banned.
Yeah.
And you sang Dreams. It kind of made everyone remember just how important live music was. Like, you could
Completely.
tell everybody in that room was just taken over.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, hearing you talk about how you used to listen to the radio
Yes.
and the top 40.
Precisely.
Did you ever dream that I had to.
I love it.
Did you ever think it could get to that height where, you know, you'd reach, you know, #1 for 3 weeks, which was unheard of before for like a debut?
Yeah. To be honest, never. You know, growing up, I was a child who had a lazy eyelid. You've got to remember, going to school, I don't know if it's different now, but going to school amongst other children, although I'm a mum, but a lot of children weren't nice. So even becoming a teenager, I remember that when I was getting ready I was 16, so you finish school and you're going off to college or uni, whatever you were choosing to do. And I remember that in the school leaving book, everyone was writing nice messages. Mine was, hope to see you on top of pops, ha, 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 because you've got to remember, I had a lazy eyelid, I didn't fit the criteria of what you imagine a female singer-songwriter should be. And at that age, I didn't know if I wanted to be that. I just loved singing. So if you asked me, did I ever imagine myself to be that? Hell no, because it was just my own personal thing that I loved to do. And music was just, you know, breath of fresh air for me. It was just like my first love. So it was something that, it was a form of escapism. So I wasn't making plans to become this artist or even had a vision, because at that stage, I don't even think it was something that was even encouraged. And someone who looked like me, forget it, honey. You know, now times have changed. We've come a long way to when I first, you know, was growing up and how I look visually. And But at that time, no. So it was never something that I would have dared dreamed of. But I just love singing. But I remember just reading those messages, and it does kind of get to you a bit. You know, it's a bit disheartening, but it was what it was at that time. And you know, my whole vision and my whole aspiration would change later on. And even then, my aspiration wasn't to be, you know, this big singer-songwriter. It was just, I just want to sing. I don't care if I'm singing on street corners. I don't care if I'm busking. I don't care if it's in a little pub or bar. As long as I can sing and express myself, I was pretty much going to be content with that, because it was my happy place. Yeah. So, you know, this thing, you know, the fact that we can fast forward to now and I'll be celebrating 30 years. I can't believe it. It's amazing, but I wish I could have, you know, had a crystal ball then. But no, actually no, because it's nice. You know, it's actually nice that I didn't know. It's nice of the surprise. It's nice to be able to tell my story as a way of encouraging others who, you know, if you don't look the same as somebody else, if you don't have the same anything, but you know, it's great not to be able to be placed in a box. You couldn't place me in a box. I didn't fit, you know, and so actually now I'm sitting here saying, actually, it's great not to fit. It's great to be different, you know, and to embrace your differences. But, you know, I wish I knew what I knew then, now what I knew then, but no, like I said, I like the element of the surprise.
Well, I think if you look at your back catalogue, I think you've done quite okay for yourself. I think you've got the last laugh.
Most definitely, 100%.
And just keeping with your back catalogue, we could literally spend a full episode talking about every song, because your music is unlike others in that any song could come on and everyone knows what it is. And that's very obvious at live shows that you do, where maybe it's a festival rather than your own show. Yeah. But maybe there's a lot of people there to see other artists. Yeah. And they're like, oh, pop along and see it. And they're actually, oh yeah, I know this one as well, I know this one. But one that kind of stands out as well is Out of Reach and the placement on Bridget Jones' Diary. I think that was another huge moment. Yeah. Did you know at that time that movie was going to be what it is today? Were there murmurings, or was it just a pleasant surprise?
It was, for me, a pleasant surprise. I remember when I was first approached, it was never a case of, oh, write a song for this, you know, for this movie. It was a case of, oh, here's this book, you know, take it on holiday with you and tell me what you think. That was the head of my label at the time. And I did. So there was nothing to say, you know, I'm coming back to you. Hopefully you've done your homework. So I got back from a holiday after having read the Bridget Jones's Diary, and my A&R at the time was like, so what do you think of the book? I was like, it's wicked, it was great. How about writing? I was stoked, because, you know, the moment I heard that, it wasn't something that I'd been approached to do before. And I'm actually glad that I didn't know when I was reading the book, because I love reading, I love books. And so for me, there was no pressure. I'd fallen in love with the characters. So the moment I was asked, you know, like, do you fancy writing? I already knew what I was going to write about, whom I was going to write about. I was in love with Colin Firth, the character. I'm sorry, you know, whoever you like. Done. For me, it was Colin Firth. Stalker.
Why are you pointing at me? Yeah. It's as if we uncovered many secrets before we started recording that we were trying to keep secret.
No idea what would happen. And then, you know, by the time I wrote it and it was accepted, and then the movie came out, it was a phenomenon. And I was really proud to be associated with it, because I enjoyed the movie, seen it several times. Mm-hmm. And it was just, it was incredible. And so, no, again, it's a pleasant surprise. So me not really being familiar with how things work, and, you know, when people do start talking about, you know, writers and movies and stuff like that, it was amazing. And, you know, it was global, and, you know, they had various songs that were released, and to have Out of Reach as one of them that people, you know, still associate with it, I'm really chuffed, because, you know, it was an exciting moment for me, and it was an amazing thing to be associated with.
What I love as well is it really connects, like it really, really does connect. And it's not just your voice, because it's so distinctive, but it's the fact that you write as well. Yes. Like I love that.
Let's talk greatest hits. Oh, wow. And the release in 2013, actually.
Yeah.
That's what we want.
So having Naughty Boy reimagine that, were you worried? Were you apprehensive a little bit?
That's a good question, actually, because it's such a fan favorite. I'd be scared to touch it.
It was because it was slightly different from the original version. I felt that it was something that he could do, and I wasn't worried about it kind of affecting the love that people had for the original.
Yeah.
So it was just different. So it was allowed to exist. You know, when I recorded it, the new version of Dreams, it was just allowed to be. You know, it was just allowed to exist, and it's the version that it was. But the original version is the one that everyone loves, and I perform at every show. You know, alongside all the other songs, but I would not be allowed to walk the planet, I guess. If I turned up, someone said, I'm not going to sing Dreams, I wouldn't be here today, I don't think. So, you know, I won't be making that mistake.
Well, I must say, the album was great. I loved the track, the Imagine track. Obviously,
you.
the original can't be topped, but it was really beautiful. It was really
Thank
poignant,
you.
I think, as well. Now, a bit of a selfish question for me is another one of your albums, Under My Skin. That is honestly my favorite. Chord classics aside, that is one of my favorite pieces of work that you've done, and the cover art as well is beautiful. If anyone hasn't seen it, it's really, really lovely.
Thank you.
Now you probably won't know this. I was there for the album launch party for that.
Oh wow!
He really is a stalker. You're like, oh wow!
I'm setting myself up here massively, and there's no coming back. So let's just delve in. Too late. In the backseat of the car. I was at your album launch party, and you weren't well.
Oh.
Do you remember this?
Do you know? Oh,
and you could
actually,
see how
I do.
frustrated you were, but you still came out. You still sang. I don't because that's your tool. Like the same way if a builder forgets his tools, he can't work. But you still came out, and I think even if you could sing to the top of your lungs, you couldn't hear you because the entire crowd were so happy to be there and to celebrate the album that you couldn't even hear you because they were singing so loud.
They were singing for that was the whole point. I wasn't well, and we had two options. Either we just tell people that I just not turn up and just give what do they do? Make the announcement. And I just didn't think that was fair. I knew and was aware of people who were coming from outside of London, had booked hotel rooms, stuff like that. So people who weren't from London were like, I just felt it wasn't fair, and the least I could do is just stand before them. And I actually didn't plan to sing.
Wow.
But when I got there, I had no voice. I've had this happen to me before, and I remember doing something somewhere else in the country, and a doctor came and was like, you need to cancel the show. I'm like, I can't. And although I should have done, and I just wanted to stand before everyone, and it was a very intimate affair, and just let them know. And I'm glad that people didn't just turn up and had to have this cold notice, like, oh, she can't come tonight. So I was there, and at least people, we were all there together. We were in it together, basically.
And sticking with that album, is there a certain track on that you really love? I never asked that question, which is your favourite album, which is your favourite song? But do you particularly have any fondness for that album?
When I wrote and recorded that album, I've got to say it's one of my favourites for a long time. And if my manager says, like, oh my God, I've never heard you want to sing so many songs from an album. And that is the one album. So I've got to give it to you that,
Oh, good.
You got
I've
taste.
got taste.
I love
I've
that.
got taste.
I love performing that album. Yeah. So, yes.
Speaking of performing, we have the 30 Years of Dreaming tour.
That's right.
Lorcan will be at every date.
I'm not going to deny
I'll probably be joining.
I'm not a liar. I'm not going to say no.
Gonna have a lot of fun.
Yeah. Are you excited?
Super excited.
It is such an achievement. It's such a milestone.
It really is. And I just feel like I've just gone through so much and felt like I've just come through so much to get to this point. And I'm really stoked. And the fact that I've been touring on and off for the last few years, and like we're gonna have a lot of shows. We're gonna have a fun show. I've got my band. We would have come off by the time we go on tour later on this year. We would have come off from a height of just having fun all summer doing festivals. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm still trying to fit. I'm doing new material, so it should be a new album for this to celebrate 30 years of dreaming and the tour. And I'm really excited because I think when you get to I'm in my 50s now, and I didn't ever think, I'm going to be a 50-year-old person singing, and I just wanted to sing. I didn't know that this is where I'd be. And it's an amazing place to be, and to actually go out there from town to town and just share that moment with so many people. And I have all people, like tweeting me and stuff like that. I can't wait. I really can't wait because I don't know what the songs are going to be. You know what I mean? Because I'm still in the process of adding the new ones. So it's like, I don't know. It's like,
yeah, but you can't leave off the favorite album.
I told you never.
No,
Never gonna
make it 3 hours long if you have to.
Listen,
no one's going to complain. Everyone's going to.
I won't be complaining. My manager will get told off and fined in some of the venues.
Yeah, for the cut-off points.
Pull me off stage at the end of it. I get nervous. You throw me on stage. I literally have to push me on. There is actually video footage of me being kind of pulled off stage. There is, yeah, actually. But that was a festival.
So, yeah, there's more acts to come on. Tell them to go home. So I'm not going to ask you to name all the dates, but you're literally you're everywhere, and like people can see you all over the UK.
Yeah.
But you've got a big London date, don't you?
Yeah.
So tell us about that. Are you excited for that one?
The Royal Albert Hall, October the 31st.
We're going.
And it's going to be fun. I had, I've done the Royal Albert Hall supporting other people, and I love the venue, and it's iconic. But to actually be like headlining it yourself, and I have a wonderful band. I'm going to just have lots of fun with the songs, the show. I'm still kind of pinching myself, like, am I really? Is it my turn now?
I mean, that's fair.
Just because the Royal Albert Hall is amazing, but so I'm excited. I'm excited for all the venues, but because it's my home ground, it's like the Royal Albert Hall. That is an amazing place to perform. So I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully people can come along and have fun with me and just bring your dancing shoes.
I'm so glad. Sorry that you said that you were going to be playing some new music
Yes.
because on Twitter the fans are asking. I feel like constantly. So honestly, if you overrun, if you whatever, people have been asking.
No, but it's just going to be fun. I mean, like I tell people, I try not to leave off the classics because I know that I think it's probably one of the worst things. I've read people moaning they'll go and see some of their favourite artists, and sometimes it might only be 2 songs out of the whole set that you might like. And if it's the key songs and someone's decided, I know artists do this, but not for me. I never forget what I came from. I never forget the fun times, the launch, having dreams. And you got to remember, for someone like myself, at one stage, I was almost told that I wasn't going to be allowed to sing my own song that I wrote. So I had all these like problems with it, and no idea that song would be released, be the highest ever by a debut artist since the charts have begun, and all these different things. I never would have associated that with myself. So that's the song that when people come, guarantee. I'm sorry to spoil everything, but you will always hear that song.
Yeah. You say you're quite proud of where you came from musically, and you will never forget those songs. But your songs that you started with are good.
Yeah.
Thank you. No shade to a lot of other people. There's a reason why they don't play those songs anymore. Your songs are good, so there's no reason not to play them. So I think I'm not being my stalker self. That is just the truth. So let's now talk about some of the things that you've popped up in over the last couple of years.
Okay.
So first and foremost, what I want to talk about, what looked like the ultimate girls' night out with Adele last summer.
Incredible.
So so I know Adele's a fan of yours, and I know that's how that came about because she used Dreams in Desert Island Discs, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
And she gushed about you, said you're her first memory musically. Dreams, I think it was, wasn't it? Yeah. What was it like on the night? Tell us what happened.
This phenomenal woman that is a phenomenal superstar, which is Adele. She's incredible. She came to my dressing room. I didn't imagine that she really would. It's something that you just don't know. And she turns out she's like the queen. It's like meeting the queen. And she's just so lovely, so down to earth. So, she's like I would say a true superstar. Someone who's just, such high heights, such phenomenal talent, but she's just amazing. So I don't know if I can gush anymore because she's incredible. She's lovely. She's beautiful. She's just a breath of fresh air. She's just really cool. I really love her, but I don't want to sound like the stalker that I really am. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of her. So it was incredible to meet her. It was incredible to grace the stage, to actually, to be opening up for her as, and to be part of her lineup of amazing women. So I was really touched, and, forever and a day, I have to keep pinching myself because, it was amazing. And for 2 days, I supported her, doing VST, and wow, I'm still like, wow. I still can't believe I've done it.
I think you're being your lovely self as ever, in that if Adele was sat there, she'd be saying the exact same thing about me and you.
Oh, you know what? I love her. So she can say whatever she likes about me. I love her. Yeah.
Oh, that's really, really lovely. And you popped up elsewhere as well.
Yes. So like you're loved and adored by so many artists. I think so many British artists, especially, see you as such an inspiration. And Stormzy is another one.
Wow.
You popped up in his video. Like, how did that come about?
Do you know something? I for some reason, I've just had this amazing 2022 when it happened. I did the Adele thing, you know, the Stormzy video. My manager got the call, basically, you know, that they'd like me to be in the video. And I didn't think it would be anything major in the sense of it's major because it's Stormzy, but I didn't think you'd probably even see me. I think I would just be happy to tell because I love Stormzy. So to actually film the video and see all these incredible people on the day, I was like, well, no one would probably even know I'm in the video. It's cool because I get to kind of sneakily look and see all these amazing faces. And it was just a fun thing to do, but you can't tell anyone you've done it. And, you know, so you kind of do it and then forget about it, although you can't forget about it because of who you've done a video for. And it wasn't until it was released and then you get to see the video. And I'm like, oh my God, they kept me in it. And to see all these amazing faces, but just to be asked, because, you know, he's a phenomenal artist, and to watch his growth from being that young man, just honoured, I think, because this is like new generation. They are the, you know, the Adeles, the Stormzy, they're all like the next generation, or the, you know, well, I'm 3 decades in, so. And
still as relevant as ever, like to be asked, you know, by these people who are like, they're top of their game, they're coming to you.
No, precisely, and it's still a shock, you don't understand. It's a shock. I'm like, when I saw the video, I'm like, how comes, I mean, you've got Usain Bolt, you've got all these amazing people, you've got, you know, like, you know, Jazzy B, you've got all, you know, these amazing people from across the years, and he's chosen to put people in there, you know, Ian Wright, and then you've got all the younger generation, you had Nella Rose, you had all, just so many amazing, relevant people. It's phenomenal. So Stormzy was phenomenal, Adele was phenomenal. I mean, what can I say? I've just had phenomenal moments, and they just keep coming.
You mentioned very briefly there now about having to keep it secret, obviously, for a little while that you were in it. Another thing you had to keep secret was the Masked Singer as well, wasn't it?
My God, yes.
Did you have fun with that? So
I had a lot of fun with it.
I want to know, I don't know if you've been asked this before, but like, do you get to choose the costume? How many people are you allowed to tell, if anyone? And did you just have fun when you were doing it?
Right. So, yeah, I got to choose the costume, which I was really chuffed about. I think maybe, I don't know if it's because I was early, you know, like, depends on how many people they approached, but the fact that I was able to choose my costume, and I don't know for others, but I did hear for other people after a while, they've got an idea of the costumes, and after the rest have been taken, then, you know, you've probably only got so many, but I can't guarantee that. All I know is I got to choose mine. You know, being a big girl, I was like, oh, that costume would probably be the perfect thing for me. You know, I didn't have to hold anything in. Oh, mind you, that's a lie. I did have this caution on, but I didn't. It was perfect. Everything was fitted. It was amazing. It was a weird thing because it's beautiful. The costume is beautiful, and you have like dress rehearsals, and you know you get to try on the head, but then you have to sing with the head, and I hadn't signed up for that bit. In my brain, I hadn't. Anyway, I forgot. I don't know what. No, I do know what I signed up for. But it's one thing to know you're going to do it. It was another thing to actually be placed this beautiful thing, but I couldn't catch my breath. Menopausal, you know, menopausal women, we can be a bit like, you know, we have to be allowed to have our moments. But it was the most fabulous thing. Once I got my head through it, I mean, I don't know if I ever managed to get used to singing with the mask, and there were times when I felt I'd sing, but I couldn't sing properly like I wanted to, because I was just, I wasn't in the right headspace, because if you don't like closed spaces, I don't think you should do it. But it was fun to do. And then once, after threatening to quit, because I didn't think I could
get me
sing,
out of this mask.
Yeah, I was having
get that fire exit door.
Panic attacks and being menopausal. But once I kind of relaxed into it, the whole thing was just incredible. You know, I mean, you're singing, you're trying to disguise your voice. I think I got to a point where I was like, I don't know what's my voice and what's not. You try, and then you're like, let me just go on and just do my best. And it was fun. And, you know, you're not allowed to, I mean, obviously, ideally, you want to not tell a soul. But then there was like my son, I told him, apart from him, no. So my mum didn't know, my best friend didn't know. My daughter was I tell everyone, she was upstairs in her room. She was getting phone calls like, "Is that your mum? What do you mean, mum?" She wasn't even watching it. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was fun to actually do it, and you know, the secrecy of it all. I always say like the military is nothing on the Masked Singer.
And just really quickly, somewhere that I've seen you quite often, I think it's probably quite a good question because clearly there's some love there for it, is Pride festivals. And Mighty Hoopla, for example, I've seen you at. Although not Pride Festival, it's very LGBTQ.
Yeah.
Is that important to you
It's
showing up to those
very
venues?
important for me to, you know, especially doing Pride. And, you know, for as many years as I can remember, whenever I'm invited to do Pride or any shows affiliated with it, as long as I'm about, I'm there. You have so much fun. The audience are phenomenal. I mean, if you want a good time, you have to go and catch the shows. I feel honoured and blessed that I've been taken, you know, into people's hearts where they come. We just all have a good time because it's like being family, and I love that. And yeah, I hope for as long as I can, I want to be gracing as many Pride stages as possible. But I've done Mighty Hoopla as well, which it was my first time being asked, and I'm like, why did they take so long? You know,
it was worth the wait.
So much fun. It was fun.
That crowd was huge.
I know I've seen so many people, but it didn't feel like I've ever seen that many people in that area. And that's, you know, that's like, wow, it was phenomenal. And yeah, I was just proud to be a part of it, to be honest. What a lineup. That year was phenomenal.
Well, if you want to see Gabrielle this summer, you know where to go to. Tour, summer dates, they're there for the taking. Thank you so much for coming on Shuffle Skip Repeat. It's been absolutely lovely having you.
Honestly.
Thank you.
Massive fans. Thank you so much.
Thank you.